Okay, so we are on day 4 of our 4-month Bible reading plan. Today we're doing Genesis chapters 22 through 28 and Matthew chapters 7 and 8. So here are the Bible chapter summaries, and I'll be back in a little bit to discuss thoughts and key takeaways.
My takeaway comes from Genesis 22 because it is such a powerful chapter. The chapter begins with God testing Abraham's faith. He tells Abraham to take his only son, the son whom he loves, and offer him as a burnt offering. This is remarkable because just a few chapters earlier in Genesis 17, God had promised that his covenant would be established through Isaac. Now, we know that God already knew how Abraham would respond, so that raises an interesting question. If God already knew Abraham's heart, why did he test him? The test wasn't for God's benefit. It was for Abraham's. It gave Abraham the opportunity to exercise his faith and trust in God's promises. After all, faith without work is dead. Faith grows when it is exercised. And sometimes we don't truly know where we stand until our faith is tested. This reminds me of Peter in the Gospel of Matthew. Jesus told Peter that before the rooster crowed, Peter would deny him 3 times. Peter insisted that he would rather die than deny Jesus. But when his faith was actually put to the test, Peter did exactly what Jesus said he would do. He denied even knowing him. In a similar way, Abraham's faith had to be tested. Would he trust God to keep his promise that the covenant would come through Isaac? Abraham never hesitated. Hebrews 11 tells us that he believed God was able to raise Isaac from the dead if necessary. Abraham loved God, and because he knew God was faithful, he trusted him to keep his word no matter what. But when we step back and look at the bigger picture, we see that this entire event is pointing us to something even greater. Genesis 22 is one of the clearest foreshadowings of Jesus Christ in the entire Old Testament. Here are just a few of the parallels. Abraham and Isaac represent a father and his son, just as God the Father and Jesus Christ are father and son. God told Abraham to offer his beloved son. God himself offered his only begotten beloved son for the world. Abraham was sent to the land of Moriah. According to 2 Chronicles 3:1, Mount Moriah is the site of Jerusalem. Jesus was crucified at Calvary on that same mountain ridge. Abraham's journey lasted 3 days before Isaac was to be offered. Jesus was in the grave for 3 days before his resurrection. Abraham placed the wood for the sacrifice on Isaac's shoulders. In the same way, Jesus carried his own cross to Golgotha. Isaac willingly allowed himself to be bound. Jesus willingly submitted himself to the Father's will, praying, "Not my will, but thine be done." Isaac asked, "Where is the lamb?" Abraham replied, "God will provide himself a lamb." Centuries later, John the Baptist declared of Jesus, "Behold the Lamb of God, which taketh away the sin of the world." Finally, a ram caught in a thicket by its horns was offered in Isaac's place. Jesus became our substitute, and before his sacrifice, he wore a crown of thorns upon his head. My conclusion is simple. Always trust God to keep his word, no matter how impossible your circumstances may seem. I'll leave you with Romans 8:32. He that spared not his own son, but delivered him up for us all, how shall he not with him also freely give us all things? If God was willing to give us his very best, his own son, we can trust him to keep every promise he has made.
What were your thoughts or key takeaways from this reading? We'd love to hear from you. Please like, share, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see you tomorrow.